especially the big things about how do we keep our kids safe, how do we keep our students and staff and our schools safe.
Public safety personnel from Murfreesboro and neighboring cities met with Murfreesboro City Schools to participate in some school crisis training.
So today what we're doing is we're doing some joint training and then some tabletop exercises dealing with incidents that have happened in our school system. We've reached out to agencies, not just the Murfreesboro Police Department, but also Murfreesboro City Schools. The school bus system is here, the Sheriff's Department here, the Fire Department, EMS, all the emergency responders along with the school system that might come to a school for some sort of emergency event. You know, we all have different specialties that we work within, but what we found is we need to work together as a team to be a lot more effective. You know, ultimately, our goal is to keep our students and staff safe in our schools, and this is one way of doing that, but we just get better at what we do when we work together and we practice ahead of time. And there is a bus crash involving bus number 550. It's a Murfreesboro City School bus.
Not only did the attendees review procedures for emergency situations, they also participated in 2 tabletop exercises that allowed them to talk through how they would handle a crisis at one of the schools.
Today we kind of review the procedures that we have in place, and then on top of that we sit down and we actually have different exercises for kind of emergencies. How do we respond so we can look at our procedures and say, are we doing the best job possible to respond to and take care of these emergencies? So one of the exercises that we're going to work on today involves a bus incident where a bus has crashed, and then, you know, we deal a lot with, well, how do we manage that? Because that's a real thing that could happen to any of us today. It has happened before and could happen today. And how do we best take care of the kids who are on that bus when the crash occurs? And, you know, how do we get them back to in school? How do we take care of them not just during the crash but afterwards? Do they need counseling? Do they need help? Do they need how can we support them best and take care of them? And then the other one will be an active attack at a school. I think there's not a parent in America today who doesn't worry about a bad actor coming to one of our schools and doing bad things in our schools. And so a lot of what we emphasize today is the immediacy of responding and ending that kind of event immediately on the law enforcement side. But on the back side of that is, how do we work with fire, EMS, and our school system to take care of the kids who are there who might be hurt or injured? And then how do we help them work through and recover from this? How do we make sure that parents know what's going on and they get reunified with their kids at the right place at the right time? So there's a lot of those factors that we really work on that we want to get better at every aspect of it. How do we work through the problems that we know, the chaos? How do we manage the chaos? Because that's what those things are. They're very chaotic. How do we manage that best? How do we take care of the kids that are in our care? And that's what we want.
Through working together to manage these school emergency scenarios, the attendees were able to learn to communicate effectively with other public safety departments and build relationships that will help them work as a team to effectively handle a school crisis when it occurs.
A lot of this has to do with us understanding the flow of these kind of events, how they unfold, and as a response to that, how do we work together as a team? How do we communicate effectively? How do we know what radio channels to operate on? How do we talk to each other? How do we pre-plan so we're prepared for the worst? And if we're prepared for the worst, then we're prepared for all the little minor emergencies that actually happen every day. And it builds relationships. With relationships, we find that when things happen, that we're able to talk to each other. I pick up the phone and I talk to people that are my contemporaries in other agencies or other departments, and we can talk about how would we best manage this thing or this event. So it's a lot of team building that we do here, a lot of working together. Typically, communication is usually the biggest failure. And so what we really work to get on this together is a team approach, so we get the right people to the right place at the right time, because that's what saves lives.